Welcome and bienvenue to this new presentation and training program powered by EcoGrid Energy. So today we'll see a very important part of the product itself. We'll see what EGE panel and solar panel are made of. It's a key point for every sales and every of our distributor to know that. Why? This will give us the advantage to show that we have a clear and full transparency of what our panels are made of. It is very important because we have to compare apple with apple, especially with some clients who will come always to counter the offer or give us lower price or what they're buying from other. They will never know what is exactly in a solar panel. But we at EcoGrid Energy, we want to show everything to our final client to make sure that we can succeed to convince them to work with us. And the best way to convince is to show professional fact and information. So let's see what are the solar panel made of. So primary here we have the glass. Then we have the first layer of EVA. Then of course the cells, the other layer of EVA and the backsheet or the TPT. Sometimes it's a white backsheet, transparent backsheet, or it can be made of two glass panel. So bifacial. So, and of course the frame. So we'll review all the points one by one. The first point is the cells. As you know, the value of the cells in the solar panel is between 60 to 70%. So the cells is the primary things that we pay attention. But as we saw and you will see all laid out before, there's different level of cells. You have grade A, grade B, grade C cells. We always choose grade A. What does it mean grade A? It means cells with any imperfection, without any imperfection. So the cells is high efficiency and a good brand. We usually work with tier 1 brand for cells, so such as GS Solar, ICO Solar, TW Solar, etc., etc. It's very important. In the market of the cells in China, if you are not aware, there's many trading or there's many small solar factory printing the cells. So all this can lower much more the cost of the solar panel. This is why it's very important to know all the materials that has been used in your solar panel. So in EGE solar panel, we always pay attention to choose top 1 brands, grade A cells brand, and most importantly, with the right efficiency. Be careful. Some brand will use lower efficiency cells to reduce the power of the solar panel and make more profit out of it. We always use the right cells efficiency to get the right panel efficiency. So as you know, we have different level of cells and size of cells. So we have 156.75, 158.75, 166 cells to do the half cell solar panel for the family Helios and Helios Plus, and 182, which will be the new cells we'll use in the Atlas panel. Of course, each cells have different level of bus bar too and efficiency. The 156, 158 will be a 5 bus bar cells, and the 166 will be 9 bus bar cells. The 182 will be 10 bus bar cells. Of course, the efficiency will be up to 23%, of course, for the mono PERC cells. For the 156, we'll be using mostly poly cells. Now, a key point in the solar panels that people don't know or don't measure how it is important is the EVA. The EVA are quality, efficiency and quality lifetime panel point. What does it mean? The EVA is what will glue the panel together, the glass with the cells or the TPT. So the glue is what will make sure that the panel will never disrupt or will never unstick the part between each other. This is why in the market there's only 2 top brands, which are First Solar, First EVA and SVEC. So those 2 brands have been well used by the top tier 1, the top 10 tier 1, such as Dinko, Ryzen and Trina, and they are all certified with TV, UL and etc. What you should know is the weight of the EVA, because you can use a EVA and put lower weight to reduce your cost. But for example, for the 72 cells, we'll use 420 grams, which is the highest level of the gram of EVA. More you put EVA, according to the size of the panel, more you know you have enough glue to stick everything well together. So EVA part is very important. People do not consider it well, but you should really always consider it. EVA is good because during lamination it will stick well and you will avoid any snail trails or any air bubble, things like this. This is why you have to put the right material. Then of course we'll use a good glass. What does it mean choosing good glass? First of all is the strength of the glass and the reflection, because the aim is to absorb as much energy as possible. So we'll use a good glass with a good coating, which will avoid high level of reflected of sunlight. So more we have a good anti-reflection, more we can keep the power. And the other point, once you have a solar farm or solar project near an airport, you will not have the issue of the reflecting of the light, which can be disturbing for the plane and other things. So for that, of course, we're also using big brands such as Almaden, CNBM and others, which will help our panel to get good quality. The strength is also very important. What does it mean? It means once there's small sand, rocks or things like that going on the glass, the panel will still stay together and strong. It will not be broken. So those glass have been, of course, fully tested and fully approved by all the certification level. And we have been using those glasses for many years now. And I can be very happy to tell you we never had a glass issue over all the feedback we had from the client. So this is why we pay extra attention to the quality of the glass too and the reflection level. Again, more we have a better absorption of the light, more we'll have efficient solar panel. The other part we would like to review with you is, of course, the TPT, or the PE exactly, is the backsheet of the solar panel. It's also a key point because the backsheet represents a kind of wall for the panel, is what protects the cells, the EVA inside the panel. It's what we find in the back of the panel, and it's very important because it will help the panel also stay long together. We have seen in the recent 2-3 years that the first model of solar panel from big brands such as Trina and others, the first things that give up life in the solar panel was the TPT or the PE, because this is what is the first material that is damaged. Why? Because it's in direct contact with the environment and atmosphere, so it can easily get damaged. As we know, the glass can stay for hundreds and thousands of years, but the plastic can be very affected by the weather and everything. This is why the backsheet is very important, and this is why we use good brands such as Junction, Jollywood, Hybrid, because they have good level of protection. Those, of course, have been using also with the tier 1 brands such as Rise, Junction and GA, and they have compliant all the certification. Of course, our point is that they are resistant not only to the atmosphere and weather, but also to the electricity. This is why they have high pressure resistant of 1500 volt. Of course, it can be white, as most of the panel, transparent or black. But this depends on every request. But the most common is the white ones that we have been using now for many years and by all the brands all over the world. The frame is the other part we need to see. Be careful, be aware what's happened with the frame. The frame has been an issue for us, not for ourselves, but to make our client understand why it is important and where there can be some cheating. First of all, the thickness. The thickness will prevent the frame to bend during installation and when there is a strong wind on a project, on a roof and things like this. The second point is the weight. Why the weight is important? Because the weight will reflect what's the quality of the aluminum. If the aluminum is empty, or if it's full, if it's dense, or if it's light. So we pay attention to these 2 points, thickness and weight, that many brands do not pay attention, and we are paying attention to that, This is why we have a strong and strict requirement with the frame suppliers that we have been using. Of course, it's an anodized aluminum, which provide a full safety and full guarantee against any kind of weather, even salty weather, that means near the coast and things like this. Of course, we can customize this frame with different color, different hole position, and the most important is that the frame is a key part for every installation. So pay attention. Ask your client when they compare with EGE, what is the frame thickness, what is the weight, know more about it. It's very important because it will affect your installation. It will affect the longevity of your installation. And of course, the junction box. The junction box is a key part because this is where the electricity will go out. And the junction box made of plastic, you need to know that it can also be affected by the weather. We have seen some installation where the junction box and the plastic started to crack down, where the MC4 connection also being dried by the sunlight. So we pay attention to the composition of the junction box. Of course, we're using two main brands such as Shiton and Tonglin for all our panel, so including the normal format panel, 72 cells or 60 cells, and even for our half cells panels, so from 120 to 144 cells. It's very important because it will connect to the system. So we need to make sure that those junction box, those cables will last long, because be aware, once the junction box fall down or if it's not well life preserving of the solar panel, we will have to change the whole panel just because of it. So we have to pay attention to that. Of course, every junction box we have been using and testing outside of our factory to make sure they can really resist any kind of weather. So we have been exporting panels, of course, in southern countries such as Africa, Latin America, but also in the northern countries such as France, Poland, Ukraine, Russia, where we have seen that weather really, our panel withstand the weather, and especially those elements which are outside the panel, such as the glass, the frame, the TPT, and the junction box. So this is what we have to pay extra attention. Of course, those brands that I'm informed are all certified with TUV and even now UL. They have the same good partners, such as our brand, like Longitude and others. So the main point is that the plastic has a good anti-aging capacity, which, as I said before, will not dry quickly and will not start to break. And this is very important and key point for us to make sure the longevity of the solar panel. Of course, now the nominal current that we'll use, especially for the big size panel, will be up to 25 ampere. So before was between 15 to 20 ampere, depending on the size of the panel. But now if we're talking about the big size panel, and the nominal voltage is up to 1500 voltage, which before was 1000 voltage. Of course, year by year, the technology is evaluating and increasing the capacity. And of course, the protection for the waterproof level is IP68, because most of the new junction box are filled up with silicone and water will not have any effect on them. So the main point also, as I say, it can withstand very different weather from -40 till 85 degrees Celsius. So it's very important to know that, because those elements, again, are in contact with the atmosphere. So we need to make sure that the bill of material we're using will withstand all kind of temperature, and that client, the first thing that client can see is those elements if they have a damage or if they have some defect. This is why we have to pay extra attention of the material we're using. Thank you very much for your attention. I hope you review all these points one by one. You really need to understand all the materials that has been used in the solar panel. Again, it's a key point to sell the product is to know, as simple as it is. Know well what you have, what you're selling, and know well with who you're competing and what they are putting in the panel, because trust me, being here in the middle of the heart of the production of the whole world, being China, we know what you can find, and we know that you can get good surprise and bad surprise. Thank you very much, and let's continue for the next training.